Hey everyone, it's Kaycie, and we are here for a meditation practice. We're going to be using pranayama, some breath work, to help us anchor in and feel connected to our practice while we are meditating. It'll kind of be our intro into the meditation itself, where we'll just kind of sit and allow some stillness and all of that kind of grounding to settle in. Today's breathing technique is a less traditional yoga breathing technique called one or circular breath. And this is going to focus on creating a circular-like breathing rhythm that's going to move from navel to chest, back down to navel in a looping kind of cycle, okay? Now, before we get into the breath work, I want to break it down just a little bit more. And when we think about the breath, we think about the inhale and the exhale, and then there's those little pauses at the top and the bottom of the breath. And in some breathing techniques, we emphasize those pauses. And in this breathing technique specifically, we're going to try to eliminate the pauses altogether so much that we're going to actually focus more on blending and connecting the inhale and the exhale together to create one continuous cycle of breath. So just think about trying to seamlessly connect and flow your breath together in a circular formation within the body, okay? This can get a lot of energy moving, especially any stuckness that you might have inside, energetically, physically. So we're gonna kind of get things moving in there. If at any point you need to pause and you just need to sit, breathe, please do that. Due to the fact that we don't practice very often how to seamlessly connect our breath, it will feel a little challenging when we get started to find kind of that pace, that rhythm, that fluidity. So if it feels really blocked, just work on smoothing out as much of those rough edges as possible. If it makes you feel like you're completely out of breath, then just pull back a little bit, work into your own pace. The slower you breathe, the easier it is to connect that looping of the breath. So that's what we're going to focus on, okay? I'm sitting in a chair today, and I recommend you sit in a chair as well. I like this exercise specifically with being seated in a chair, but you can also do it from a seated position or even lying down on your back, okay? It's entirely up to you. I'm going to ground the feet here. From the soles of my feet, I feel the heels, and I feel the balls of the feet and the toes. So if you don't have a firm foundation for your feet to rest into, you can place blocks underneath your feet or whatever props you have at home. We just want to create a little bit more grounding for this practice, and we're going to feel kind of that energy lifting up the legs and kind of helping to nourish that cycle and that movement of the breath once we get into it, okay? So whatever seated position works for you, try to get it so that the knees are stacked right over the ankles. And if you are seated in a chair, try to avoid the rounding and curling or just kind of sitting and letting yourself hunch into the chair. We don't want to get sloppy and lose our posture. So we want to make sure that we're seated nice and tall. If you need to, you can walk your hips all the way to the back of the chair. If you need a little support through the back, you can do that so that you get that lumbar support to keep the spine lifted and long. Otherwise, maybe you shove some small blankets or a pillow behind your lower back just to give it that necessary support so that you can lift and lengthen the rest of the spine, nice and tall and stacked, okay? And I'll give those reminders as we move throughout as well, because it's easy to start slouching in any kind of meditative practice. So I'll give those little conscious reminders to keep the spine lifted upright and to prevent that curling under of the pelvis, okay? So find your seat, hands can rest down at your lap, and just close your eyes and give yourself a moment to kind of scan over your body. And first, I like to set myself up nice and intentionally. So with your hands resting on your lap, maybe your palms face down on your thighs. And this is more of kind of a grounding and connecting to self. So feel that out. Notice how it feels in your body. Notice if it resonates with you. Next option, flipping the palms up So the tops of the hands are resting on the thighs and the palms are facing up towards the ceiling. And think about this shape or this position here as a receiving of energy. Your palms are open, you're ready to receive, to take in, to allow whatever surrounds you to kind of pour in. So if you're feeling maybe a little depleted, you're needing some extra energy today, this might be a good way of receiving that energy to flow into your practice. Last option that I'm going to give, but you can take any variation that you would like, would be Dhyana Mudra. Place your right hand into your left hand. Both of your palms are facing up. So you're cradling your right hand with your left. Thumbs touch together and you can just rest the hands down into your lap, okay? And this kind of evokes more of that deep concentration, that deep meditative state, and just allowing ourselves to feel more connected into the presence as we surrender and let go fully into the right here and the right now. So whatever hand variation you pick, let it be intentional. And then we're going to just release a little bit to feel ourselves a little more connected. So exhale, let all of your breath just melt out of your body. And then through your nose, nice and slowly, start to breathe in. Expand your lower belly and your lower back, and gradually, like a water balloon, notice how it fills up, lifting up the torso around in all directions, lifting the breath high up into your chest and your shoulders, your upper back. And just let yourself pause here for a moment. Feel that full stretch and expansion of your lungs. And then open up your mouth and exhale, just sigh, release it all the way out. We're going to do that a couple more times. Really focus on that accentuating of space. So inhale, breathe into your belly. Once again, visualize its opening in all directions, front, back, and sides as it gradually lifts up the torso, all the way up into your chest, shoulders, and upper back. Really focus on that space between the belly and up in towards your heart space. Holding here, nice retention of breath. And then open up your mouth and exhale, let it all the way out. Okay, let's do that one more time together. Slow breath in, filling up. Take your time to sip in the air, no rush. Filling up every little section, front, back, and sides, lifting the breath high, holding at the top just briefly. And I want you to spend just as much time as you breathed in to breathe out through the nose, slow and steady. Start to exhale the breath, melt it out of your body. Go ahead and take a couple more of those, but completely on your own. Find your own breathing rhythm, find the fullness of your lungs, find that expansion into your diaphragm, that lower belly really opens. And taking just as much time to breathe out as it took you to breathe in. There's no rush. Let's take one more here. All right, and then just let your breath relax into more of a natural, unforced pace, and just observe yourself in this pace. Notice if the breath is short and shallow. Notice if it has depth and expansion just in its natural rhythm. Notice the length of your inhales versus the length of your exhales. Notice those little pauses at the top and the bottom of each breath. How long are those pauses? Don't try to change anything, just notice. Are the pauses pretty long, or do you feel that they're just a very brief kind of touchdown before you take in that next breath or release that breath out? Start to feel your breath drop down into the belly. So like breathing like a baby. You can feel that full opening through the belly and lower back. Learning how to keep the breath isolated into different areas within the torso. It's a visualization, so you're focusing your attention, your mind's eye, on where you want the breath to go. And energetically feel the breath, the expansion and energy moving into those spaces. So for now, the lower belly and the lower back, allowing that belly breath. And if you think about breathing like a baby, babies in their most relaxed state, most at ease, and just allowing themselves to be, right? They're not forcing anything. They're not dealing with, the stressors of tight, short, shallow breathing in the chest. There's more of that full life and that energy that expands into the belly, that full opening. So just visualize yourself in this moment, kind of releasing all the blockages that keep the breath tight, that keep the breath high, that keep the breath in that fight or flight mode. And start to drop deeper into the belly, relaxing all the abdominal muscles. And just feel that sense of being, just that sense of ease, simplicity. No expectation, no judgment, no force, just an allowance of breath to pass down deep into the belly. That calming, soothing sensation that washes over the body as you breathe. Slow, relaxed breaths down into the belly starts to stimulate more of that rest and digest mode. Okay, so we're going to start to now visualize. I want you to visualize a circle that moves from the belly and circles back towards your back body and up towards your heart space. And as it comes up towards the heart space, feel the circle moving forward towards the front of the body, towards the front of the heart, and circling all the way back down the front of the body, touching down towards the belly button and repeating the process. Just visualize this circular shape through the torso. And with each breath in, notice how the breath travels from the navel back and up towards the heart. And then the exhale, you're feeling the breath move forward and back down to the belly. Circular motion. Visualize that circle as you breathe. The inhale draws it back and up. And the exhale brings the breath forward and down. Inhaling, bring the breath back and up. And exhale, let the breath melt forward and all the way back down. Now continue on your own, feeling the fullness of your breath, but we're not trying to be forceful with the breath. We're not trying to make it be so much longer or deeper. We're kind of just riding out that natural length of the breath. Still consciously taking full breaths, but not forceful. So really visualize this circular motion, connected with your breath, conscious breathing. And now, as you focus on this breath, we're going to add on to it. So I want you to feel, as you reach the top of your next inhale, as you come to the top of the breath, I want you to slow it down and almost imagine, instead of stopping the breath, that you're just seamlessly flowing it right back into the exhalation. So there's no block, there's no pause, there's no break in the breath of energy. It's just a constant loop. The inhale, we fill the top and smooth the breath right into the exhalation. And as you get to the bottom of your exhale, instead of pausing or breaking, try to seamlessly feel that slow inhale start to kind of flow in, creating a seamless connection between inhale and exhale, this circular breath. moving from the belly button up towards the heart and back down and around. And then you'll notice that the circles start to slow down through your visual kind of experience as you start to connect your breath. You find yourself kind of working through those transitions smoothly with your mind's eye. When you reach the top of the breath, you're watching yourself smooth the rough edges as you start to flow into that next breath. When you exhale, you're feeling the bottom of that exhale and not letting it fully empty before allowing little sips of air to slowly start flowing back in through the lungs and diaphragm. Once again, just allowing that lower belly to relax and expand with each breath. Not just the chest, but allowing that belly breath. Smooth, continuous flow. Now, as you feel this steady flowing of breath and energy, you can feel it starting to build and move energy. So we're creating a constant state of a cycle, a flow, a rhythm. We're creating movement through the breath and the life force energy within us, that prana. So think about circulating that prana, that life force energy with each breath. As though each time you touch down into the belly, you're feeling a little bit of that heat. And then as it rises, almost like the sun on water, you feel this slight evaporation lifting back up and then raining it back down. Seamless connection as you feel this cycle, this flow, this natural kind of flow of energy. Notice if the energy feels more calming and grounding, or notice if there's a lot of internal movement, a lot of energy that begins to shift. Sometimes by circulating the breath, we can start to lift up the stickiness and those parts that have been stuck or tense or ignored for quite some time. We're picking up the stagnation and we're allowing more movement and flow to enter into our practice, into our bodies, into our breath. So if you feel a lot of energy at any point, slow it down or take a pause, let yourself reground into the energy. Otherwise, just move it through. Feel the intensity. Notice where that intensity stems from, where are the roots. And if you can recognize where the roots are as you wash the breath over in each circular one breath movement, think about digging up some of those roots. You're just washing over those roots, allowing them to surface a little more each time. Creating fluidity, a flow of energy where we're not grasping or avoiding. We're just allowing a cycle, a flow and a connection to move throughout. The mind becomes more restful, more at ease, more present with what we're doing, as it requires focus and attention to move the breath seamlessly and flow it, connect it into itself, into this continuous loop and cycle. So keep your full presence and awareness there. Adding on the little bits as it feels good. The energy moves, circulates. We transcend from that heaviness, from the blockages, and we're starting to move it around and allow it to find more of that expression, that release. The breath is slow and connected. Maintaining that expansion, belly and lower back. Maintain the visualization of that circle. Feel that circular movement. And just like a whirlpool, when we think about a whirlpool, we think about how the water just follows in that circular movement. Feel it just the same here. You're creating the whirlpool with your mind's eye. You're creating the movement, you're creating the direction, creating that cycle and that flow, that repetition. Flow the breath right back into itself. Constant, continuous, flowing. The breath is still nice and full. Noticing how it expands through the different areas of your body and awakens new space and energy. A renewal. Notice how much more calm the body starts to feel. You might even feel tingling sensations through your mind or even on the surface of your skin. The slower you breathe, the more seamlessly you connect your breath, the more sensation that begins to arise as you move the stagnation, you move the blockages, allowing more of this free flow of energy. Focus on the seamless connection. Focus on the temperature of the energy that you're feeling. Does it feel cool? Does it feel warm? Is the energy really high or is it more soothing? Relax the mind away from anything else and just allow full immersion into presence, into what it is that you're doing while you're doing it. What's coming up for you? Observe without judgment, without expectation. Big circular loops, full expansive breath, flowing that life force energy throughout. And the sensations that you may feel on your skin, think about that radiating out into the spaces that surround you. As though you're absorbing the energy, allowing it to soak in, to move, and then releasing what no longer serves, just allowing it to flow right back out. The cycle, the loop, the flowing, that seamless connection and ease that gets created from this mindful breath. Letting everything settle back into a deeper, more connected space within. Taking a few more really deep rounds here, really focus on as much depth and as big of a circle as you can create within your body. I want you to really focus there. How much can you open for this circle? How much can you find expansion in your belly, in your lower back? The expansion through your heart space. Feel the movement of that energy and stickiness. And then from here, feel yourself relax back a little bit from the breath. Come into more of a natural, everyday breath, an easy breath, where you're kind of stepping away from the effort or control. And you're noticing how the breath is as its natural state. Now feeling more relaxed, now feeling more spacious, more connected, more free-flowing, less heavy, less dense, less stuck. And allowing the sensations that you may feel in the body to also wash over the mind. All the stickiness, all the tension, all the last little lingering thoughts just slowly empty out. Allowing for more clarity and space to just be. And as you relax into this breath, this natural, released breath, we're going to allow ourselves to sit in stillness and silence for a few minutes. If at any point you feel the mind is too distracted, maybe come back to the one breath with that circular breath technique to help ease the mind once again back into a present, calm state. For as long as you need until you can drop back in. But the next few minutes are entirely yours. Just allow yourself to enjoy. Begin to slowly deepen your breath, more expansive, bringing more energy, life back into the body. Feel that full stretch of the lungs with each breath in. Feel that full and complete release out on each exhale. Hands over your belly. And just feel all your energy start to settle back down into that low belly, re-grounding. And then join the hands together at your heart center, thanking yourselves for taking the time to be in your practice today. And thank you so much for allowing me to guide you. Much love and much gratitude from me to you. Thank you all so much. Very relaxing meditation. It's nice to sit in a chair sometimes where you don't have to worry about the leg setup and the numbness and all of that. Didn't give the reminders on lifting the spine. That shows how deeply I was connected with y'all through this class. I was in it with you. So I would love to hear your feedback if you enjoyed this breathing technique, and I will be seeing y'all shortly. Thank you.